So we're about to have our very first panel discussion. Kemi has already set the ball rolling. So Kemi, please, before I call, definitely, yes, exactly. Kemi has set the ball rolling. I am happy to call our first moderator for today's event. So this panel session is on career and entrepreneurship. I'd like to call on a young lady who is a lawyer. She's very dedicated to youth and empowerment, and she's really excited about empowering SMEs in Ghana. Having worked with the British Council and Reach for Change Ghana, where she coordinated projects. Remember Kemi talking about volunteering. She's focused on enhancing economic opportunities for women and children across Ghana. I can see a lot more women in the room. She's a fierce gender advocate. She aspires to be a proactive voice of policies that promote a conducive environment for business development. With a keen interest in the intersection of law and business, she's honing her skills to provide strategic legal counsel that encourages the growth and success of SMEs. I am happy to welcome on stage K.M. Diane K., our first moderator for our first panel discussion. And on this panel, we have a great resource, I must say, very great resources. We have, all the way from Nigeria, we have Dr. Funmi Adeniyi. So she's a dentist. She has more than 13 years experience in the private and dental care and healthcare industry. She holds a bachelor's in dental surgery from the prestigious College of Medicine, University of Lagos. In 2019, she founded Lux Dental Clinic, a clinic that leads in providing global standard dental services to its customers, leaving them with life-changing experience so that you can be smiling like this. And you know what Kemi said? Have other interests. It shouldn't only be your work. I'm happy to say that Dr. Funmi is a founder of Body Pantry International Limited. Now, Body Pantry, what's it called? Pioneers African fashion. It's an African fashion brand and dedicated to preserving what? Culture. So that's a quota to the environment. Now, Kemi inspires a lot of young girls, and that's how come she's left her beautiful children at home with a very lovely husband that looks like her to come and inspire all of you on this panel for entrepreneurship and career. And then through her journal public, she also has a podcast platform known as The More Show, and she has 2 best-selling published books. With a resounding round of applause, shall we welcome Dr. Funmi, who is married to her best friend, Dr. Damilola Adeniyi, the family doctor. Together, she is raising 3 wonderful children. Shall we welcome Kemi Onabanjo Joseph again to join the panel. Just give me 1 minute. I have 2 special guests, panelists that I need to recognize. So, I love to call her my presido. That's another story for another day. She is Madame Dedo Kofi. Dedo is a serial entrepreneur. She has a chain of business. Look, I'm not even going to say much. She's going to tell you all on stage. Dedo is a business coach. Dedo inspires a lot of young women. Dedo is a giver. I know she'll not be happy that I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it either ways. Dedo is a big giver. She's a big giver to the society. She's a big giver in church as well. And I am excited and I'm happy to welcome Madame Dedo Kofi with a resounding round of applause. Now, to the only gentleman that we have on our panel, I'm sure many of you know him as a fantastic, exciting wedding MC. But on this panel, he comes in as a real estate broker. He's smiling at me. He's a certified international real estate broker and a member of the National Association of Realtors in USA, as well as the Ghana Real Estate Professional Association. He has 7 years in the experience of sales and lettings of primary Accra residential and commercial properties as well. So he's into real estate research, real estate investment, real estate advisory. He's won the prestigious Commercial Broker of the Year award at the African Real Estate Conference and Expo Gala in 2023, among several awards. And like what Kemi said, have other passions. It's not only work. He is on his talking. MC, making others laugh at weddings and many corporate events. His name is Eddie Aqua. Eddie Aqua is an award-winning professional events MC who specializes in corporate events, weddings, and social events with he's almost done 500 events and counting. Shall we welcome our only gentleman for this panel? So, Dinah K, take it over from here.
Thank you so much. Please, can we have another round for our amazing panel? Kemi, the bios were amazing, but I want to hear from you, like how you would describe yourself to us, to the people sitting here.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Fumi Adeni, and I beautify smiles. I beautify lives using dental tools and technology. I give confidence to people. So many people come to me and with bad breath, or they have wonky teeth and they feel like I can't smile so well. But when they leave my office many times, there's a difference. Some people get married after they meet me. They get popped questions after they leave us. And so I design smiles and I beautify lives and give confidence. I also tell African stories. I create designs that tell African stories using indigenous African techniques, a lot of tie and dye from West Africa in the Yoruba culture, Adire, Ghana, Ashoke. We just tell stories using that. And so, yeah, that's who I am.
Me too. I describe myself as a problem solver. I solve problems for people, organizations, nations. And I'm an explorer at heart. Yeah, that's all right.
Hi, everyone. Okay. So my name is Dedo Kofi, and I'd like to say I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I make people happy. So I say I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur because I have interest in different businesses, so it's an easy way for me to say that. And then when I say that, people are like, wow, what's that? So it's nice. But I say I like to make people happy. I do events, and it's one of the amazing ways to make people happy. I have a retail business, and we sell home goods as well as gifting. I'm passionate about things like this. I have a platform called The True Life where I do similar. And so for me, events like this are very special. Even if I came and there were 5 or 10 people here, it's always an opportunity to speak to, even if it's one person, because I truly believe that if we can tell our stories, if someone can listen and it makes a difference in their hearts, that's all that we need. So this, Morenike, God bless you for coming all the way to Ghana to do this, because, I know how hard it is to get students or young people to come for events like this to change their own lives. So thank you very much. So that's really what I do. And what else? I mean, the rest will come out as we speak. So.
Hello. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eddie Akwa. I like to say that I'm someone who is very passionate about impacting my generation and generations yet unborn. What do I mean by that? When I was probably the age of many of the young ones sitting here, I never had this opportunity to sit in such amazing conferences to hear from people that will inspire you. So I realized that life wasn't all about chasing a career or making money, but the greater purpose was to impact others and help others also come up, because we rise by lifting others. So I do that through my real estate business, where we sell properties, help people rent properties, advise on properties, and also do some construction. And of course, through my events, weddings, social events, corporate events. And whenever I have the chance to meet people, I want to make sure they leave with a lasting impact, that they met me and there was an encounter. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will start with you, Eddie. What you guys may not know is, so Eddie actually gives me advice. Like, he's somebody I go to. He's kind of like my mentor as well. So when I found out that he was also on my panel, I was like very happy, because I get to interview my mentor on a panel. And what I know from personal experience is that you left a thriving career in the UK to move to Ghana. And it's a question that people have, like, how do you decide between choosing a traditional career path and then also going the route of entrepreneurship?
Great question. For me, I've always said this. Growing up, you have to align with God. So I heard Selassie speak about that, because what happens is there are so many distractions. When you are young, everybody's telling you everything they think about your life. Parents have their own opinions. When I was growing up, they said I should be a doctor. I started doing integrated science, and I said, what is this? It's not for me. So I had to confidently tell my mom and my dad that if this is the route you want me to go, I can confidently guarantee you I'll bring disgrace to this family name. So they allowed me to do other things that I liked. So moving to Ghana was a very tough decision, because it's quite abnormal to be 24 years old and have a very lovely, job somewhere in central London and, living in the life. But then God tells you that your purpose is not here. Your purpose is not waking up and going down, the rush hour route, and we call it the rat race, catching trains up, down, left, right, center. But I felt like there was something to do in Ghana, which was beyond real estate, but it was along the lines of impacting others, helping others come up. So I made a decision of moving back to Ghana, and at the time, everybody thought I was crazy. But because I had prayed and there was direction from God, the message was so clear that this will not make sense to anybody, but in 3 to 5 years, I, the Lord, will come alive, and everybody will say congratulations. I didn't know what it meant, but I took the leap of faith and I came back. And of course, when you move from the UK to Ghana, trust me when I say this, it's very frustrating, because we live in a country where there's no system, but you create your own system and make it work. Over there, the system works, so you just adapt, and everything is smooth. So it took a while, but God came through. 3 to 5 years down the line, I started to understand why I had to move back. I discovered things like emceeing. I started to get on platforms where I could showcase my talent and just touch so many lives, from 80-year-old birthdays to corporate events with 500 guests. Once in a while, the president is one of the, keynote speakers, and you're like, wow, what am I even doing? But then that you realize that when purpose leads and God comes through, everything else makes sense. And that's when the opinion of man doesn't make sense. So for me, when you are young, in as much as it's good to explore, have all the fun, which is great, it's time to find yourself and align with God, because if you don't have that direction, you miss a lot of what I call your Kairos moment. So when you're young, your Kairos moment comes a lot, but because you're not ready, you don't see it. So I want to encourage everyone seated here that align with God so that you can have direction, because not everybody's meant to move to Ghana, and not everybody's supposed to go to go abroad to have a career. Everybody's journey is different. Pray and let God lead you, so that when you make your decisions, it can bring glory to God and you can impact your generation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you so much. Dedo, this question is for you. So recently on Twitter, there was a young lady, I think she's about to be 30, on Twitter that she's in a career, but like she's very frustrated and she's afraid of starting a new one because of the amount of years it's going to take, and how does she know that it's even going to yield something? Like, she should make the move, should she not make the move? And if she was asking you, what would you tell her?
I know, he said, wow. Because for a question like that, there's no yes or no answer to it. It's always up to you. And if you're in a career and you want to move, why do you want to move? Are you moving just because you're frustrated? because there's something else that you want to do and you believe that it's going to make you money, because bottom line, we all want to make money, but you want to make money doing something that you enjoy, or you want to make money doing something that will also impact the lives of other people. So yes, the feeling of, frustration is always a good thing. It means there's something that you need to know, you need to do, but you're just trying to find, you're struggling within so that you can make the best decision. So that's fine. What is not good in place, and there's something I like to say a lot, and that is just start. Because from where I started, I didn't know where the end was going to be. So if I was asking questions like, will I have money? Can I be able to buy a ticket to Dubai? Will I be able to do this? Can I do this? Then you would never do it. Because if you don't start, you would never know. The good thing is you can always make changes. So you can change if it's not working, you can try something else, like Kemi said. So my advice would be, if you feel like it's enough here and you want to do something else, just start it. One of the problems that we have right now, which is even so magnified, is the fact that we are comparing ourselves to other people. And what we're comparing ourselves to is not even real. The fact that you're seeing someone, because now people are their social media pages. And so if every day I can see that Ugo is here, she's dressed so beautifully, she's done this, she's here, then that is the life. And you have already created your own imagination of the life that she has, which is not really exactly what she has. Yes, she has a fabulous life, but it doesn't mean it doesn't come with other things. And she has paid the price for it. So stop looking at everybody else. Stop making stories out of what people are posting, and look at your own story and build it. What do you want to do? This is what you want to do. You can't start from 0 and be at 100. Maybe it's happened for some people, but really you would have to take it step by step. So look at yourself, say, okay, I want to do this, I'm going to try this. You've heard a lot about mentors and everything. Find all the ways that you can be able to learn to do what it is that you're doing. And facing a roadblock or finding something difficult is not the end of the world. So just start doing that thing that you want to do. If it becomes not what you wanted to do, you go on to the next. You're definitely going to find your feet.
Yes, and just to add to that, I think that's amazing. But the thing is also trying to understand that the seasons are not the same. And sometimes you may be in a growing season, but because you're in a rush, you end up chewing your own seed. Instead of allowing your seed to grow, because you're looking at somebody else's seed that is sprouting, because you don't understand the season that you're in, you would rush and destroy something that could have been way bigger. So I think that is very important.
Yeah, the whole rush thing, let's slow down. Yeah. It's nobody's time is your time. Your time is your own. Even with my peers, I have peers who are like, wow. And I am in admiration of them. I am not worried. I'm enjoying my own whatever I'm in. Do you understand? So enjoy your time. Do you. Be happy for the other people. Don't how or why they got what they are getting. Just do you, and don't be in a rush. Because sometimes what you are admiring, really, that's the truth. It's not exactly what it is. The fact that you see me in Dubai, in this. Did you know what I was doing before I posted the picture? Please, let's just focus on our focus.
Fumi, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, based on the story you told of a lady. Based on the story you told of a lady that was in a career path and she felt frustrated, wanted to start a business. That exact same thing happened to me in 2016. I'd been practicing 5 years. At this point, I was pregnant with my second daughter. And this job was really hard. I was the only dentist in the hospital. It was a hospital, and I didn't have an assistant. I would do the RCT. I would develop x-rays. It was tedious. Many times I would get to work from 8, and my husband will come to pick me then, and sometimes he will still be waiting for me at 8 p.m. And I just felt like this was a lot, and I needed a break. I just needed a break. But at that point, it was the wrongest time because my husband was running a master's. I was pregnant with my second child. We had a nanny. At this point, all the money is needed. But I felt like it was time to focus on entrepreneurship because I'd sold here and there as a student. But my fear was, what if I fail? And then I'll always hear that voice in my heart, what if you fly? And so I took that break. I resigned. My husband was like, okay, I trust that you hear God. And I took a break. And in this point, I went all in. I was taking courses on entrepreneurship. I dabbled into real estate. I sold about 6 plots of land at a point in Lekki, and the commissions were really great then. And so at the end of that year, I was like, wow, I didn't fail. And shortly after, once I had my daughter, we moved to Abuja, and I was back practicing dentistry. But then 2019, I was now an entrepreneur. Everything I learned in that gap year was everything that gave me the wings and the confidence to begin to run a practice, because how did I go from just being a regular dentist to running a practice? So sometimes follow that leading. Those frustrations, those nudges are leading you somewhere. And once you ask the Holy Spirit, He's a guide. He will lead you. So, yeah.
Please, so when the doubts come, ask yourself, what if you fly? Because there was a sermon that I listened to by Pastor Darius Daniels, and he was talking about how we know that the devil is a liar. So anytime you hear a word that says you are not enough, you should know that is a lie because it's coming from the devil. So that means the opposite is true. So whenever you hear, what if this won't work? What if I fail? What if I can't do it? Just know that the opposite is true and then run with that. Kemi, I would like to say that one of the challenges in career and in entrepreneurship is the imposter syndrome. It's feeling like, and it's even something that was mentioned, that you hear your bio being read and you're like, is it me? Like sometimes you don't even believe in yourself. And I think that's something that's hindering so many people in their careers and opportunities because, for example, for men don't feel like they need to fit the job description 100%. Once they reach 60, they would apply. And then there's us women who feel like we need to tick every single box before we apply. And so I just want to ask you, like, what are some of the tips, like mindset changes that we need to do to overcome imposter syndrome?
Thank you very much for that question. First things first, imposter syndrome is not going away. It's not going away. So the moment you realize that it's not going away, you learn to sit with it and navigate around it. And how do you navigate around it? First is understanding that you have value. I talked about, how I felt I needed to be on step 10 before I could go on stages. But the moment I had that shift to say, well, I'm on step 3, but there are people in step 1. And so maybe I can't, fly to Ghana, but I can go to universities and speak. That change that said, I have value, I know something, I stand for something, and I can give that to the world is the first thing that you need, because it's either you have imposter syndrome or you're faking it, right? And I think we're all people of integrity here. We're not here to fake anything, right? We're here to offer substance and value to our world. So understand that you have value. Even if you don't have proof, remember in Genesis, after God made you, He said what? You are good. After God made you, what did He say? You are good. So you don't even need any extra validation. You are good. If that's all you remember, in spite of your flaws and whatever craziness or idiosyncrasies you have is catching God by surprise, He knows, and He still said, you are good. So the first mindset you need to have is, I am good, and I have value. I might still be a diamond that is still in the ground. It's not saying, I'm a stone. Oh, I'm a diamond. The diamond knows that it's a diamond. It's still rough around the edges, still covered in dirt, but it is a diamond. You might still be a work in progress, but you have value. And so that's the first, in fact, that's the only thing I'm going to say. If you know that you have value, you will show up differently. If you remember that you have value, because sometimes we know, then we forget, because we are looking at other people and looking at their own value and not remembering that we have our own value. We can't all be the same. We cannot all be the same. If all of us are convening conference, who will speak? No, who will attend? Who will speak? So now you'll be under pressure. I want to go and do my own conference. Not necessarily. If God has not called you to it, don't do it. So when you see somebody else, you'll be having imposter. Imposter syndrome is a signal that you're coveting something. So it is important you ground yourself in your value. This self-identity is so important. And if you don't have any other proof, you are good. God said you are good. Do the work to make sure that that goodness manifests. Learn, take all these courses, all of those things, and you begin to show up better and more confident. The other thing that imposter syndrome tells you is that there are gaps. There are learning gaps. That's what it also tells you. When you see something like, I don't think I'm fully qualified. There are gaps. You can either sit there or go and do the work. I talked about 2/10. You can either sit there or go and do the work. So when you also get that nudge around imposter value, it means there are learning gaps that you should close. But while you're closing those gaps, start adding value.
Thank you. That was deep. That was very deep. Thank you. Guys, I'm so sorry. I feel like we could have continued this conversation for a really long time, but we need to wrap up. And so I would ask the same question of all of our panel, is that what is the one thing you'd like to tell anybody in this room on how they can maximize their 20s, especially with regards to their careers or venturing into entrepreneurship?
All right, so I would say start small, start where you are. So I started my dental clinic in partnership with someone who could bankroll it in 2019, but beginning of 2021, the partnership failed because there were regulatory laws that they weren't willing to abide by, and I wasn't going to cut corners. I was going to do it by the books. And so I was flung out in 2021 on my own, pregnant with my third child at this point, and I needed to start a dental clinic. Banks weren't giving loans to healthcare facilities because COVID had just happened and there was a lot of default. So I just had savings that was enough to pay for rent on a high street in Lagos. And my competitor, in quotes, I don't believe in competition like that, was someone who started his dental practice the year I was born. Who gave me the right. And also I paid for rent, and I had a space. I couldn't fund the space. I had my instruments, and so I reached out to my mom and said, I've been in partnership with this lady for 3 years. This is my financial records. I had everything that I had made, and I had the profit, and she saw it, and I said, okay, can you give me a loan? Let me start out with 1 room, and then I would pay you back. And she gave me a loan. I got my first dental chair. Everything in dentistry is expensive, in thousands of dollars. So I got my first dental chair, my x-ray, and we bootstrapped. I was pregnant in this period. I paid my mom back her money. From the money we were making, I was plowing everything back. I restocked the other place, and we set up the whole facility in about 6 months. So start where you are. Start with what you have. It is enough. Till date, I haven't gotten any commercial loans. I've applied for grants. I've gotten grants. And in applying for grants, I have learned all the things that a serious business needs, and I had to put all that in place, and so I have grown. I joined a lot of associations, the Association of Private Dental Practitioners, Dental Association. I signed up for the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs. It's a US government-led alumni organization that business, because nobody teaches you business as a medical person. They just teach you how to cure diseases, and then you're wondering what's profit and loss, all of that. I had to learn it. I had to learn finances like a dummy from the scratch. And so start where you are, learn. I pay heavily for courses. I invest in learning, in getting what I need. And so what you have is enough. You don't need anything extra. Many times you can start where you are. So I think I'll stop here.
I'll say that excellence is non-negotiable. Excellence is non-negotiable. And I'll just, from your story, from your 1 room, it wasn't a full practice, but from that 1 room, the clients that you had, you attended to them excellently, and then they were able to tell other people, and it multiplies from there. Excellence multiplies. And for entrepreneurs, it's how you treat that one customer that will open things up, even when you're operating from your shared bed in your parents' house. It's not a shop, it's not a store, it's not an office. It's a shared bed. You don't even have a desk. But the way that you operate from there with excellence, not perfection, excellence, is what will change things. And as a career person, that menial task, if you do it well, it can open doors for you. The one aspect that launched my career was a task that my boss asked me to do. And then I did it so well. He told me to run an internship program for interns. And I went all out. PowerPoint, everything. I was 21. So I was 21, I remember. And I was like, for me, the question I asked myself is, if I was an intern, how would I have wanted to be treated? So I did a learning plan, how they'll rotate from one department to the other, for a feedback form they need to fill every week so that we know what the gaps are. It was not on my JD. I was an engineer. I was a software solution architect. But that unlocked something for me because there was now an open role for a HR project manager. I was not in HR. But my boss was like, if you designed this internship program like this and you're not in HR, I wonder what you would do with a bigger platform. And I was the youngest person on that project. I was 22. My counterpart in the client firm was 44. I remember he was 2 years my age. And the people in that room were in their 40s. But it launched me into a room that I could never, ever have been because I did oversabi on a task that was not my job. So whatever your hand findeth to do it with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your might. It will unlock amazing things for you. Yeah.
Amen. And so just following up on that, I would say that there is nothing like being lucky. You're only lucky when you have prepared and then you meet opportunity. That's when you're lucky. Because someone would see her and say, oh, she's very lucky because she's nice, or she was able to talk to this person. But she had prepared. Nobody, no serious business person would give you access to their business or ask you to do something if you're not qualified. So remember that. And then what I would also say is that I know that you've heard a lot, so I can add all the technical jargons and you probably forget it. But if you remember what the Bible says for all of us, that which of you by worrying about which of you by worrying can add like one strand of hair to your hair? Just to say that don't worry, we over worry. I know as a young person, I worried about growing. I wanted to grow. When will December come? These days, December comes so quickly. But I used to worry about when December will come and I will grow. When we were going to go on midterm, I can do my hair. The things that we were still worried. But at every point in time, worry not. Because by worrying, you cannot change anything. Just remember that process. Don't ever let worrying hold you back. Things will come that will make you worried, but just remember that there's nothing you can do about it to change it, but then just keep believing on what you believe and doing the best that you can do to change the situation. I'll just end. I don't know if Selassie, you were able to put my affirmation. Now, there's an affirmation that I say to myself all the time. They have worked for me. I don't know about you, but when I was much younger and I started saying affirmations, maybe, I don't know how many years. I know, right? Don't say it. But I've been saying affirmations for so long, and those things changed my life. I can share it with Morenike to maybe share because you may have their details. But they are very good. I'm going to do the last bit of my affirmation. Now I've grown, like I'm a big girl, so I don't need to say it all. The devil already knows. But sometimes I need to say it before I get out of the house. So I want you to say it with me. And this is the end of like my affirmation. So it says, I'm a mover and a shaker. And when I'm doing this, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm a mover and a shaker in my generation. I'm a woman of value. Active, attractive, and in demand. I feel happy and healthy. I feel loved and loving. I feel motivated and motivating. I feel terrific. I can. I will. I must. I am succeeding today. Amen. So create your own affirmation and say it to yourself. When you wake up, sometimes you wake up and it's like, and then you look in the mirror and you are like,
wonderful. So I'd like to wrap up with another angle to what everyone has said, which is the power of networking. I mean, I cannot overestimate this. I recently attended the 3i Summit a few days ago at Conference Center, and I heard something that has stuck with me from that day. It said, and I quote, networking is an innovative investment impact. So I would always say to people, especially when you're young, that between your 20s and 30s, you have to become very intentional about networking. And not just networking, but networking up. So many stories have happened in my life where things have come to me that doesn't make sense for my age because of my network and my ability to see anybody, meet anybody, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a president. I remember the first time I met the vice president at Kempinski. I spoke to the man for 8 minutes, and his bodyguard asked me, what were you telling the man? He never stops to say hello to anybody. But there was something I was telling him. It's because I was ready to say the right things to win his attention. So when you are young, I would like to encourage everyone, you have to start building very valuable relationships. Some of the jobs, some of the opportunities you are looking for, you won't find them in the graphic, you won't find them on the newspapers, you won't find them on Google, you find them through your network. I've found myself in so many situations where my network put me there, and then I'll tell my dad, oh, Dad, can you imagine I'm going to MC a wedding in Portugal? You go like, huh? But it's because of network. So while you are young, and you're having all the fun, and you're having all the questions, and trying to figure out your journey, let's get intentional about networking. What do I mean by this? There are so many events that happen in Accra every day, but most of you don't know. So imagine I walked to Kempinski one day and I said, I want to be on your mailing list so that every event you are doing, every time I'm informed. Then I pick the ones I want to go. Now let me show you what I do very well. I know what time events start. I know what time there's coffee break. So I show up at coffee break, 30 minutes networking, 20 business cards out, I'm gone. I don't care what the keynote speaker said. That won't change my life. Are you getting it? So let's get comfortable spending time out more, meeting people. Sometimes it's just a coffee meeting. It's not always about money. The money will come later, but you have to sow the seeds. And I've always learned this on my journey. If God is going to bless you, He will bless you through a man. That means a network, relationships, people, value. Keep this and trust me when I say this. Life will get better because the only way is up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our incredible panel. Thank you so much for having us. Thanks so much for the invaluable tips. I hope that you all took something today. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yes. Can we get our media team to do a quick picture? Wonderful panelists. Remember their words. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Start from where you are. Excellence is key. Make sure that you do your affirmations. And networking will take you to the next level. Thank you so very much to our first set of panelists. It's been an exciting, insightful session. Okay, I think we've been sitting for too long. Shall we all rise and do some stretches? Please stretch, 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 stretch. Whilst you are stretching, right, I want you to call out things that you've actually learned from this session in one word. Just call out very loud. I want your larynx to be in pain. I can't hear you. In one word. Stretch. You shouldn't just be saying it, be stretching. Be stretching. Okay, shall we sit down, please? What did you say? Shall we settle down for the next session? So we have a mindset session to do. We have something on emotional healing and well-being and self-discovery. We have the finance, and then we have the friendship angle as well. I'm sure you're all wondering what this little box is all about. I'm not going to pick a color. I just want a volunteer. Just one volunteer. Okay, so the lady in orange. I picked you because my favorite color is orange. And are you all tagging Grow with Rennie? Morenike Mullane? Okay. So, my friend, what's your name?
Alison Jima.
Okay. Alison Jima, so you know on this line, right, we have a number of speakers. I want you to pick one because you're going to be your charade mate. They don't know what is coming. Those on this line. Let's see what our speakers can do. You know, they said that you should do other things. So aside speaking, you must have a playful side. So just pick one, Alison. Please. Kemi, Alison. So she's going to do the acting. The speakers are the ones doing the acting, so just speak. Yeah. No. Show it to me.
So who is the acting?
Sorry. Let's take. Sorry. Can I have it? Let me see. This is too easy for you, Kemi.
Oh, you put it in the box now.
I'm pained. Oh yeah, over to you.
Okay, should I start?
Yeah.
I can't talk, right?
You can't talk.
Okay. Can I?
You can act, but you can't talk.
Praying.
Sorry. No, let's start again. But that's one word.
That's one word.
Okay. Praying to God.
Let's clap for Alison and Kemi. Well done. I need another volunteer, please. It looks like you want to pick someone. The way you've raised your hand, the lady in the mustard, please come over. Please stand here for me. Please, what's your name?
Abigail Essenam.
Essenam, what was the one thing that you've learned?
Excellence.
Excellence, I like that. Excellent. Please clap for her. Please, you have to pick. Just look around, pick. Just go and hold their hand. Okay. We're going to allow Chimamaka to pick. Let me see. This is the one Kemi should have picked, right? Yeah. Hope I get it. You can't sing. Like you can ask, but we can't hear the words.
Praises, worshiping, singing. Okay. Singing at a conference.
I don't know how to. Take another one. Chimamaka, what did you see? What was in the?
It's singing a birthday song. But
Thank you.
no way. A birthday song. That's why I was looking for Morenike, so we're birthday mates. It would have been easier.
Happy.
Still clap for them. Well done. Thank you. Now the last one. Who's going to volunteer? Maybe singing a birthday song, maybe. I need another volunteer. Okay, the lady. So the gentleman, nobody is coming. Okay. Come. He's going to act. Okay, Eddie, please speak. Please, what's your name?
Wanda Anane.
And what's one thing that you've learned so far?
Experience brings resilience.
Wow, experience brings resilience. Please clap. It's so easy to come up here.
Absolutely.
But I didn't see it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All the best.
Wall climbing. Climbing the ladder. Climbing the stairs. Climbing higher. Okay.
Still clap for them.
She did well. A mountain.
And when you think about it, all these things have to do with resilience except the birthday bit. Okay, are we ready for our next session? Are we ready? If you are ready, make some noise. There's this activity I used to do with my classmates when we were kids. So please just watch, and whatever I do, you do. But I may not be able to do, but just go with my instructions. So I want you all to snap your fingers, like really loud. Snap your fingers. I want you to use your hands to start tapping your legs. Really hard. I should be able to hear it. Doing that together, stamp your feet. Stamp your feet. It doesn't feel like it's about to rain. Okay, so our next session, right, has to do with the mind. You know, we've spoken about resilience, and in most of our sessions, like having a resilient mindset, we went on to talk about the best career moves. And it's important that even our convener spoke about self-care, why it's very important that you are in the best place when it comes to self. Now, next 10 minutes, we would have someone that is very qualified to do this session. And this session is, Are You Mental? That's the title of this session. Are You Mental? And I'm happy to call a medical doctor, a poet. She studied medicine at Lviv National Medical University, Ukraine. She's worked at Tamale Teaching Hospital, the Catholic Hospital, currently at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital. Shall we make welcome Dr. Helen Conde? Dr. Helen Conde. And Dr. Helen Conde, you have 10 minutes to do this session. Are you mental?
Am I mental? Okay. So actually the title of my presentation is Am I Mental? Are we all happy to be seated here today? Can we please show our appreciation to the convener and all the speakers? I am extremely excited, and I don't know if I have been this honored this year to be in this gathering. I have learned so much, and so much has changed in my mindset about a whole lot of things. And so, with the same mindset of resilience, and before I actually touch the subject of mental health, it's all about how to say, as you build your mental health, your resilience builds, which is the reason why it was very important, and I was given this opportunity to speak about this subject. You need to have a resilient mindset to be able to overcome difficulties and setbacks. And we've come here to learn about the things that we can, put into, or things we can learn to do to be able to maximize our 20s. And I believe that if we understand how important mental health is, we will be able to put that much importance in building our mental health, which will subsequently help us become resilient. And at the end of the day, we'll be able to achieve much more because we are able to overcome, to maximize opportunities that have been given to us, which is the reason why I came to present this subject on Am I Mental? I'll try my best to be as fast as possible since I have a very short time, and I'll present some scenarios to us. So the first scenario, your friend often talks about feeling sad, hopeless, or worthless. You recommend them to see a psychiatrist. Who can guess the next question they will ask? I need one person to just give me an answer.
Your friend would ask if you think he or she is mad.
This is actually, I don't know if anyone has had that experience, but this is actually a very common response. Sometimes when patients come to the clinic, and then you ask them, you've had this issue for 6 years, you've had this issue for 10 years, why haven't you come? And you find out that even if they have come across someone who has counseled them that this is something that you should see a psychiatrist about, they are worried that you think they are going mad or they are losing their mind. And so a lot of people struggle with difficulties in their workplace or in going forward in life because they are scared of being labeled because of a stigma. Our second scenario. So your mother who raised you since you were born wakes up one day and starts apologizing to you profusely for being responsible for why businesses and plans have been failing. She occasionally strips and tries to leave home at dawn and claims she has children with the devil. What is your first line of action? Or what do you think is going on with her? Anyone? Okay. Let me let you answer.
Okay, I'll think she's going. I would really consider tying her up in the house.
Okay.
Possessed, yeah.
So I had a similar case, and the patient's son believed that the mother was truly a witch. And in fact, ended up coming to hospital because a prophet advised him to do so, even though the prophet confirmed that the mother was truly a witch. So, the reason why this is important to bring up is because a whole lot of times, things that we label in our society, especially within the confines of our culture, are defined diagnosis. But because we fail to seek help, that is the reason why they continue to progress. You find that we have witch camps, we have relatives tied up in our homes, or we have people locked up so that they don't come out and disgrace or embarrass the family. So with this, I'd like to ask if we remember, because we've all learned this in science, even though some people hated integrated science, but we all learned this in science about the definition of health. So what is health? Health is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And our society have become so focused or zoned in on the physical and social well-being so much that they have forgotten that there's a mental aspect to the complete well-being of a person. And that is the reason why we have people who are going through mental challenges and are not aware that they are going through mental challenges and are not able to seek help because of the ignorance. So we look at the definition of mental health. So according to the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being where one is able to cope with the normal stresses of life, realizes his or her ability, learns well, can work well, and contribute to their community. All this boils back to resilience. For me to be able to stand the stresses that I face in whatever career choice or decision that I make, I should be mentally well. So it refers to our cognitive, behavioral, and emotional well-being. It is about how well we think, feel, and behave. And it's a critical part of our overall health and impact related to others and make choices. So according to statistics, according to the World Health Organization, 1 in every 4 people would be affected by mental or neurological disorders at some point in their life. So this ranges from ADHD in childhood to conduct disorders, to antisocial personality disorders, to substance use disorders, even till dementia in old age. And then we have nearly 2/3 of people with a known medical disorder who never seek help. Now, some of the things that affect our mental health are things that we are all well familiar with. And this include poverty, which some of us have had the misfortune of dealing with, bereavement, imprisonment, divorce or separation, loneliness, isolation, long-term illness, relationships, unemployment, sexual abuse. Some people still have PTSD of trauma they suffered from young age, and then the environment. Some have about mental health. I mean, I don't actually have the time